Hey everybody, welcome to Heeltoe Automotive's YouTube page, and today I am doing another installation on our TLX Type-S. Today it's going to be a heated steering wheel for my wife Elise, who's now driving the car more on a daily basis. It does get a little bit cold here in the Pacific Northwest, and so having that heated steering wheel is a luxury that if you haven't ever tried before, I highly recommend. For Christmas I bought her a heated steering wheel for her Type-S, and we're going to be putting it in for you today. It may not be as hard as you think. All right, here we are. First things first. I am going to forego the battery part of it. Up to you if you want to do the battery deal or not. I just don't feel like doing it. I feel like cranking this out. Driver's side lid off. I just sort of pushed it away with this kind of a motion and popped it right off. So that's cool. Remember, I did the carbon trim on this car before, and it was so easy just to pop this thing off. I didn't really need to pry anything. All right, remove the start button harness. All right, trim panel off. Okay. All right. Okay, the next thing, I just pulled this off by popping this way and unplugging the one harness behind this lower panel here, which just, as you can see, pops right off as well. Oh, there is a Phillips head screw over here, kind of in the door jamb here, so I'm going to use a stubby. Okay, that is all free, and we got a single plug here for the parking brake switch. All right, now we need to try to get the steering wheel off. All right, so you can see here it's indicating a clip on the sides of the wheel that needs to be undone that will allow me to remove the airbag. So let's dig into that and see. Do I access this from behind? There's a little hole in the side of the steering wheel. I think that might be what I'm looking for. Whoop. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so basically what there is there's a little pin vertical in here, and you want to push on that, and that will actually release the airbag. So let me get the other side. A punch is better than a pick because a punch has a flat face on it. But okay, got it pushed in, and there you go. So it's just a push in and then just pull, and that is it. Okay, so now we're going to unplug connector on the top. Now you probably can't see that great, but if I pinch here and pull those straight up, released. It's kind of like a pinch and pull up motion. So there you go, airbag off, and it says to store this face up on the ground. I'm going to put it away over in the corner. All right, so now we've got the airbag off. We can see the bolt right in the middle that we're trying to remove. So what you want to do first is loosen the bolt and get some threads and some space in between the wheel, and that way what we're going to try to do is release it like that. All right, so the steering wheel, we're going to try not to let it move too much, but a lot of times what you could do is use the torque of the wrench and then pull the steering wheel in the opposite direction in order to get that loose. Okay, so here's my tool arrangement. I've got a breaker bar and extension to get clear the wheel, a reducing bit so that I can install my hex in 10mm hex driver. Not that tight at all, actually. You probably don't really need a breaker bar here because it really wasn't that tight. I probably could have just used a 3/8 inch driver, to be honest. And look at that, the wheel is already loose. There's no way I'm going to need a steering wheel puller on this. Get the bolt loosened out. So you got about 1/4 of an inch between the bolt head and the wheel. And then take the wheel like this and really wrench on it. Give a twisting motion, and then you can feel when it comes loose. Now, once it's loose, just get in here and remove the bolt the rest of the way. Bolt, 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 bolt. Now you should be able to reuse this also, but because of the Loctite that's on here, they've got fresh one on the new bolt, so you're probably just going to want to reuse or put the new one in. They already gave it to you, so no big deal, right? Okay, wheel off. All right, now we're going to be careful not to pull too hard. I want to undo this harness that goes to the original cable reel. It's okay to turn this. You're going to put it all back to center later. Okay, undo the cable reel, pull out the harness for the airbag, and our steering wheel is out. Simple. Now that we've got the steering wheel out, we've got to remove the column cover. I can tell you from experience, it's probably best to lower that all the way down. And you can see there's a little indent here, which is going to be good for us to put a plastic tool in there. Okay. Oh, pops right up. Pops right up. All right, now lower column, there's a clip down below here. Ah, it's a popper clipper. All right, so you don't want to just yank on this. The clip is actually going to be released really easily, and then pull it out. Okay, fully release the upper lid. Okay, so there's like a little vinyl piece holding the upper column cover there. So we won't take it out completely, but the lower one is going to come all the way off, snake it past the tilt handle, and there we go. We've accessed the cable reel. Oh, clips on the sides and clip at the top. All right, cool. And undo the harness plugs. And cable reel off. The SRS airbag connections are all going to be yellow, and you're going to pull back on the black trigger and then undo. So there we go. That's the old cable reel off. Let me go get the new one. All right, what's different between these two? Oh, well, there's a pretty obvious plug right here, which must be for our heater. All right, and there's a lock in place on the new one too. Oh, let's see. 4-pin connector to it, and now there's a dummy connector right here. This connector that doesn't go to anything is going to go to a new port on the new cable reel. You can see there's a new plug here, and that is going to plug into the new position on the new cable reel. All right, plug everything in like normal, slide it up over the column, and clips in place like it was made for it. Now we can remove, okay, this dummy cable clip, they want us to pull it out. Probably won't hurt anything to be there, but this is where like rattles and things can come from, so we're going to pull off the dummy connector. There we go. All right, so now install the lower column cover. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this stuff back in place and meet you over there on the workbench where we're going to transfer the stuff from this old steering wheel to the new one. Be right back. All right, welcome to the workbench. I've got the new steering wheel and the old one, and of course the protective plastic on the leather is going to remain there until the very last step when we turn it on and enjoy the warmth of our new heated steering wheel. But first we have to transfer over all the covers and gadgets and wiring from the old wheel to the new one. So we're going to go step by step and do it exactly as the instructions say. So first things first, let's see. Remove the Torx screws on the back of the original wheel. I've got my Milwaukee gun here with a T20 Torx bit. Okay, Torx screws are loosened, and now we got to pull this cover off. Let's see here, retaining tabs. All right. Retaining tabs. Let's see, retaining tabs are a little tricky to find in here. It says in the instructions more or less where they are, but it doesn't really say very well how to remove them. This could be the hardest part so far. Okay, release the one at the top, so I recommend starting there. And then there's one. All right, I've nailed it down to, there's one at the top, one in here, and then probably somewhere hiding at the bottom as well. That can't be it, can it? Oh, jeez. All right, well that's dumb. I don't know if you can see it. Down in here, there's like a little clip, and when we get our finger behind it, we can release it, and it seems like that's what we're meant to do. Well, don't break it. I got it. All right, thank God. Okay. All right, now with it loose, and I definitely will show you where those clips were. Now I got to undo the harnesses. There we go. And we've got harnesses. Unclick the paddle shifter harnesses, which you can kind of do from the sides. There we go. So the trick is get inside there and pull the harness from the back side. All right, it's off. Thank goodness. Okay, so let me show you where those clips were. They grab on, first of all, the one at the top is really easy to get to. This one, you just pull a little thing apart and it comes loose. More difficult to see are these two clips right here. And you can see that they're like a little triangular shaped tooth, and they grab onto these clips on the inside of the wheel. So you can kind of see them. They're a little bit hidden in between the spokes, but they're like silvery looking trim loops, and they hook over those little clips. So you'll see when you get in there what they look like. I couldn't really get a good shot of it for you, but that's how that comes off. And now, so far, I would say that this has been the most difficult part of this job so far, getting that trim off. Okay, well, now that we've gotten the trim off, let's plow forward. Now we want to remove the paddle shift assembly, more Torx screws, okay. Oh, wire harness is attached on the front side with these little clips. Paddles off. So reach from the middle, pop up. There we go. And this trim comes off next. Two retaining tabs at the bottom. Okay, plastic tool right in there. Pop those guys off. Doesn't look like I broke anything, so that's good. Oh, actually I did break a couple things. Okay, so to pull that off, it looks like what you need to do is push these little pins through, I'm guessing, because I don't see them on here, and I do see them still stuck in the steering wheel, so I've broken a couple of clips. Oh man, how would they even come out? Alright, so it looks like this pin of a clip wants to push through these holes here, but man, I cannot even see how I would have gotten those out without breaking them. As we move forward, we're going to install all this stuff now on the new steering wheel. So, moving on. Make sure when you're installing the new left-hand button, you put the new one with the heater button on it. Shouldn't be too hard to remember that, right? And I got to line this up with the trims correctly. Now these torque screws actually screw in through the paddles into the buttons at the base, so you can kind of see when everything's all tightened together. Just want to make sure that it's all cinched down enough, but you don't want to over tighten these because then that's what's going to lead to broken plastic. We don't want that. Remove the cable reel cord from the old trim, and then we're going to want to install the new cable reel trim. So I'm going to orient this about where the other one is at. Alright, I'm just going to start from the bottom since it seems like that's the easiest clip to know where to put it. Now there is a little bit of a diagram in the instructions that sort of outlines us where to put the plugs and whatnot. It looks like I've got it pretty well figured out. This plug goes to that steering wheel button, this plug goes to this steering wheel button. All right. This damn rear cover is the worst. I'm just going to say that now. This is like a mental game. Not the fun kind of mental game. Oh, a little bit at a time. I've mostly got it back together. I'm hoping these screws, these Torx screws, finish us off perfectly. Looking pretty good. Whew. Okay, there we have it. Now I gotta be honest with you guys. I have trimmed out much of the struggling that I've done with this steering wheel because it's just not going to make for good video. But I will highlight some points here. First of all, getting these little clips out, and you can see where my finger is at, right inside here, to get that back cover off was easily the hardest part of dealing with the steering wheel itself. Everything else came off really very easy. Then it came to transferring the harness over, really not that hard either. But getting that back cover back on definitely took some fiddling. It's probably the hardest part to have gotten off of the car at this point and was the hardest part to put back together again. But I was able to manage it with putting a little bit of the right force in a little bit of the right places. I got the new harnesses plugged in all where they're supposed to be, or so I believe. And now we've got that new button on the wheel with all the wiring needed to make it work. I think I broke these little clips down here in the back, but to be honest, you can't really see or tell that I might have even done that. So presumably I won't get any scraping or anything like that when I install this. We're going to go bring it back to the car now and finish the job. And yeah, I think what I've left with here is these 3 plugs hanging out here, and yeah, I'm hoping that that is correct. So, a Come with me back to the car and let's finish this job. Here we are back in the car, and let's see, we've already put together the steering column when we left the car. Now we need to remove this locking pin from the new cable reel. Just broke off. Looks like that's what it's supposed to do. Make sure the front wheels are pointed straight. I did when we moved in. And what we want to do is center the new cable reel. Rotate clockwise until it stops. Stop. Rotate counterclockwise about 3 full turns until the arrow mark points up. Well, I can tell you right now, 1, 2, 3. Arrow mark points up. That's interesting. Okay. Well, it seems as though it should be centered now. Now the airbag connectors are going to slide right through the top port, and then we're going to plug in the steering wheel to the new cable reel. Now, trick here is going to be cable reel straight up and down, steering wheel straight up and down, and align on the splines. If it was straight up and down when we took it off, it should still be when we go to put it back on. Now we're just going to have to do a little bit of a rocking motion to get it to slide in there. It says not to do any forceful tapping or hammering to get it on. You shouldn't need to do that at all. Okay, connected, connected. This goes to the airbag, these go to the airbag. But before we do any airbag stuff, let's make sure we put the bolt back in. And putting the new bolt with the new Loctite. All right, new bolt going in. All right, it says the torque here should be 39 pound-feet, which is not very tight. 39 pounds-feet. There we go. Click, then stop. Gray goes to gray, green goes to green. And they just push right on, straight on. The airbag is this green plug that goes on there. And now we're going to push this straight in, and it should clip itself back into place. I think we're going to have to give it a significant honk. We just need to push it on, but it's going to be... There we go. It won't honk if you disconnect the battery. All right, now the last part to install a new little control unit doohickey. Oh yeah. Install control unit with the new 2 self-tapping screws. There should be a new connector. So, the new connector is taped with this orange tape to the harness inside the dashboard. So you want to undo that tape. New harness plug. There it is. Okay. So now we simply plug in this new control unit, screw it in place. Use the supplied screws right there. Alright, the wheel's all back together, and when I push the button on the steering wheel, it does turn on the heater mechanism. I'm getting a little bit of a error here from the steering system. I'm wondering if that's something that'll go away. That's where the HDS would want to be used to clear any codes. when we start the car, everything goes off. Turn my heater back on. All right, ooh, that's getting nice and toasty. Somebody's really gonna be happy with this. All right, well, I'm really super glad that I got this steering wheel for Elise, and I was a little bit hesitant to put it in. You know, it's Sunday night and dinner's actually ready, but I wanted to get this done so that she could really experience the nice warm steering wheel in the morning. It feels like it gets nice and warm at the top, and not so much, well, it does get warm in here too, but it's cool in the center. So, you know, if you wrap your fingers all the way around, it might not be super warm everywhere, but it's definitely warm all the way down here. Yeah, all the way around the whole rim. Sweet. And you know what? I have other videos coming for this car too. I'm going to do the welcome lights, which look like they're really pretty involved. I'm actually kind of impressed at how much work that looks like it's going to be. The welcome lights, and then also the illuminated door sills. So watch out for a future video. Those are coming up pretty soon. In the meantime, Heeltoe's in your corner. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, enjoy shopping on our website. Have a great day.